Hello and welcome to Critical Success. My name is Adam, and today I'm going to be walking you through the character creation process for the Swedish role-playing game Symbaroum. Alright, so here we have our Symbaroum character sheet, and this is a form-fillable PDF which I found on Reddit, and I will put the link to that in the description so that you can use this as well. So to start off, we're going to put our player name, which is going to be Adam. And then we have to choose a name for our character, and we're going to choose the name Goran because we're going to be making a barbarian character. So next we have to put our race, and as I said, we're going to be playing a barbarian, which are humans. And then our occupation. And keep in mind that for Symbaroum, unlike some other role-playing games, the class or occupation system is not set in stone. You don't have to choose something out of the book, rather you create your own occupation. So we're going to be a hunter. We're going to say that Goran spends most of his time out in the woods alone hunting abominations. So for our shadow, since we spend so much time alone in the woods, we're going to be a deep forest green shadow. And then for our experience, we're going to start with 0 experience points. And now we can pick a quote just to add a little bit of flavor to our character. And we're going to say that Goran spends most of his time out hunting because he is incredibly dedicated to his people and to his clan, and he wants to make the forest a safer place for them. So his quote is going to be, "My people deserve better than this." Alright, so now we get to look at our attributes and choose the values, and for this I'm going to use the standard array. So we're going to get one attribute at a value of 15, and for that I'm going to choose vigilant because I think that as a hunter it's very important that Goran is perceptive and vigilant. We then get one at 13, and for that I'll choose discreet. And then we get one at 11, which will be strong because Goran needs to be very strong to survive out in the wilderness. We get 2 at 10, and for those I'll choose quick and cunning. We get one attribute at 9, and for that we'll choose accurate. Then we get one at 7, and we'll choose resolute. And finally one at 5, and for this I'll choose persuasive, which makes sense with our character because he probably doesn't spend a whole lot of time in society or around other people. Then I'm going to move 1 point from accurate into discreet because I think this is a very important stat for Goran. Alright, so now that we've decided on our attributes, we can take a look at our toughness and our corruption. So our maximum toughness is going to be 11, which will make our pain threshold 6. So your maximum toughness is going to be the same as your strength, with a minimum of 10, and your pain threshold will be half of your maximum toughness rounded up. Now, of course, we're going to start with 0 corruption, and our corruption threshold is going to be 7 because it is equal to our resolute value. Alright, so now we get to choose our abilities and powers, and to start we get a trait based on our race. So as a barbarian we can choose either the bushcraft trait or the contacts trait, and I think that it makes a lot more sense for Goran to have the bushcraft trait, so that's what we're going to pick. And the bushcraft trait states that with a successful vigilant test we can find enough food for ourselves and for a small group for the day. Okay, so now we get to choose abilities for our character, and as a starting character you can choose either 5 abilities at novice level, or 1 ability at adept level and 2 at novice level. So I want to make Goran kind of a specialized character, so we're going to take an ability at adept level and 2 at novice level. So to expand upon our backstory a little bit, let's say that Goran hates abominations. Maybe when he was a child his village was ravaged by an abomination, and now he spends his life hunting them. So we're going to take the Beast Lore ability at Adept level. And keep in mind, when you take an ability at Adept level, you get both the Novice and Adept effects for it. So we'll check off Novice and Adept. And this is going to be a free action. So there are going to be 2 effects that we get for Beast Lore. The first one is going to be that we can succeed on a cunning test to recall information about a monster and its strengths and weaknesses. So next, for the adept level portion of this ability, we get to choose 1 type of monster and deal an additional d4 of damage to that monster. So of course we're going to choose abominations. And the members of our party can deal this additional damage as well, assuming that we've instructed them on how to fight this creature. Alright, so next we get to choose 2 novice level abilities, and I think for the first one I'm going to choose Sixth Sense, because Goran spends so much time out in the forest that he kind of has this sixth sense about him when he's out in the wilderness. This is going to be at novice level. This is going to be a passive ability. So Sixth Sense has 2 features. First of all, we can navigate in the forest even in dim light or in darkness, but we can only move at 1/4 of our normal speed. And the second feature we're going to get from this is that we can use Vigilant instead of Accurate when we're fighting with ranged weapons. And I think that Goran is going to mostly use a longbow during combat, so this is going to come in handy, especially with our 15 Vigilant. Alright, so now we get to choose one more ability, and since we've decided that we're going to use primarily ranged weapons, I think I'm going to take the Marksman ability. So not only will this ability let me start with a longbow, it will also increase the damage that I deal with both bows and crossbows by 1 die step. Okay, so that's going to do it for our abilities. Now next we get to choose our starting equipment. So since I have the Marksman ability, I get to start with a longbow. And that's going to be 1d10 damage. Now a longbow has the precise quality, which means that I get a +1 to my attribute when I'm making an attack with this weapon. Now thanks to my Sixth Sense, I get to use Vigilant, and I'm going to write +1 so I don't forget about this precise. In addition to this, every character gets to start with a dagger, and I'm going to say that Goran has a parrying dagger because he doesn't like fighting up close. So if an enemy gets in close, his plan of action is to fight defensively and try to get away back to ranged combat. The damage on this is going to be 1d6. It's going to have the short quality and the balanced quality. And the balanced quality means that when I'm fighting with this weapon, I get an additional +1 to my defense. So the attribute we're going to use with this is going to be Accurate. Alright, next we get to choose our armor, and as a starting character we get 1 basic light armor. So I'm going to say that we have a witch gown. Maybe the witches of our clan really appreciate that we're doing what we can to protect the clan, so they made this gown for us to keep us safe while we're out hunting. So the witch gown is going to have 1d4 protection, and it's going to have the flexible quality. Now what this does is it's going to make the armor less impeding. So to calculate our defense, we're going to take our quick, which is 10, and we're going to minus the impeding value of this armor. So light armor typically has an impeding value of -2, but thanks to the fact that this is flexible, it's going to have an impeding value of 0. So our defense is going to be a flat 10. Okay, so every character also gets to start with camping gear. And I'm going to say that we have a journal. Goran probably keeps a journal about abominations where he writes down things that he's learned about how to find them and how to kill them. Next we can decide on our physical descriptors. So for our age, we'll say that barbarians probably don't live very long and Goran is still pretty strong. So we're going to put him at about 29. For his height, we'll put him at about 5'6". And for his weight, we'll put him at 140. Okay, so for our background, we'll say that Goran is a member of the Byaga clan, and we'll stick with our initial backstory that as a child, his village was ravaged by an abomination, and since he's developed a hatred for them, and now he wants to rid the forest of them. And then we get to choose a personal goal, and we'll stick with the theme here and say that Goran's personal goal is to rid the forest of all abominations to create a safer world for his people. Alright, so after this, if you have other members in your party, you can put them here in the Friends and Companions section, but of course we don't have any yet, so we'll leave this blank. You can choose a group name, a group goal, but we'll leave these all blank for now. And then you get artifacts and mystical treasures, and we are not going to start with any of those. Those are things that you'll find as you play, so this we can leave blank as well. Finally, for our money, we're going to start with 5 Thaler. Every character starts with 5 Thaler unless if they have a trait that specifies otherwise. And that's going to be it for Goran, so our character is complete, and as you can see, the character creation process for Symbaroum is incredibly simple. It took us less than 10 minutes to create a character with a fleshed out backstory that really fits into the lore of the world, and who has abilities and traits which are going to make him very useful for an adventuring party. That's going to be it for today, guys. I hope that this video helps new players in creating their first characters for Symbaroum. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what other videos you'd like to see me make about Symbaroum, as well as what other game systems you'd like me to talk about. Thanks for watching. Now go play.